Hi everyone, welcome again. We're back. We want to wish everybody a blessed Holy Thursday, and we're recording this. We just finished our evening meal as a family. That's something we look forward to every day. Is coming together as family at table and sharing stories and exchanging. And tonight was very special. I had a really nice dinner. It was my aunt's recipe, and it was delicious. At any rate, it's a wonderful time for all of us to gather around the table and to share stories and conversation about the day. And sometimes it gets a little loud.
Oh
What's that?
yeah, we're Italian, so
Yeah, I didn't. I married into an Italian family. I didn't understand that conversation could be a combat sport until then. And, um, so
makes
anyway,
life interesting.
it does, and it's a special time for us to gather at table as a family and catch up with each other and what we've been doing. And as we were thinking about family, got us thinking about the role of family in this current pandemic in which we're in. And as you think about it, as we look back on, it's hard to believe now. It's just, but at first it was just school was canceled, then meetings over 250 or meetings over 50, and then it was no precious blood and no exchange of peace and no meetings, and then it was any kind of church service or anything whatsoever.
Basically everything closed.
And the only thing that remained unconditionally open and essential in all that is the family. And it highlights the role of the family in the modern world and in the world, God's creation. When we look at Scripture, for example, we see that God could have placed Jesus in any number of situations. He could have placed him at the feet of the Rabbi Gamaliel, which Paul was very proud that he mentored under him. Could have gone back with the wise men, the three wise guys,
Hmm.
and learned from them. He could have been placed in any number of Greek or Roman philosophical schools and learned great rhetoric and great wisdom and argumentation in that. But instead, God chose to place Jesus,
With a carpenter and a teenage girl.
very average family in Nazareth, and because God knew that that was the best place for a child to learn the gospel virtues and values. And so we think about family. It's wonderful to reflect on the Holy Family because you see so many families um, imaged and reflected in that family.
Hmm. It wasn't. I know some people think like it's a common misconception, but the Holy Family is really, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not your average kind of family. Like they weren't really the norm because I mean, you think about it, Jesus was the son of God, Mary was sinless, and poor Joseph,
He was a
Saint
saint.
Joseph, he
Yeah,
was he
saint. He was
was a
pretty much he
saint.
was a saint, but
Yeah, probably for raising Jesus. I mean, the son of God, the foster. That is not because literally his actual father is God. So that's foster
that's tough shoes to fill.
fathering. Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
right.
Jeez. Anyway, but like it's hard for me to think that they just blended in with everybody. If you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So,
And,
so people of not exactly like the average family can relate to them.
and however you define family, you can find an aspect in the Holy Family. You had a single mom,
Yeah.
adoptive dad. At one point, they were refugees, so there's a lot to be seen in the Holy Family for all of us.
Yeah.
So as we come to the modern world, we got the great advocate of the family is Saint Pope John Paul II, and we can easily summarize what John Paul had to say about the family in the simple quote: "As the family goes, so goes the nation, and so goes the world." And that so sums up what we're feeling in this pandemic: is that the family is that
Hmm.
essential building block of our nation and of the world, and consequently, as John Paul continues, of the church as well. In fact, he repeated and oftentimes elaborated more on Vatican II's teaching that our families are churches, are miniature churches, or as it was called, the domestic church. Right. So everything that our parish churches are doing for the community on the broad scale should be mirrored in some way and done by our families. And after all, our parents or the heads of our families are by word and example the first heralds of the gospel and our faith. So families, you have a very important role to fill. And at this time, most especially when our parish churches are closed, this is the opportune time for our domestic churches to pick up on those ministries, to pick up on the things that the parish would normally be doing, and to find a way to carry on and bring faith and light into our communities as domestic churches.
Yep.
And for that reason, we want to give you some ideas of how to celebrate these 3 sacred days, the Triduum.
Because unfortunately, we won't be able to spend time with our parish family, but you can always spend time with your domestic church, your family, close family. Anyway,